In the debate over whether or not to vote, there are many reasons that can be used to argue for or against it. Let's look at three. One is a rational reason that people give for why voting does not matter. So, a lot of people say that a single vote doesn't count. If you think about it, it's true. Unless the difference between two candidates is only one vote, how would a single person's vote count? But that is if we ask, does my vote count? Now, what if we change the question to, does our vote count? The answer to that is, yes, it does. We have to think of our individual vote as a part of everyone's vote. And our vote includes the votes of all those who care about what is happening in our community, state, and in our country. When there are enough of us who share a particular view, our votes do matter. So, my vote and your vote may not count, but our votes certainly do. Another reason why voting is important is because it upholds the Constitution. We should know that just as we have fundamental rights, our Constitution also enjoins certain duties. And the first among them is to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions. And the primary ideal, or rather the foundational principle of our Constitution, is that we're a democratic republic, a government in which power is held by the people and by those we elect. So since voting for an election keeps that foundational principle alive, it can be said that voting is a duty. Not voting is an act that chips away at this principle. Also, as citizens, we have the right to vote as long as we're not debarred from it for being of unsound mind, or if a competent court has declared us so, or if we have been disqualified from voting for any corrupt practices or other offences in connection with the elections. Now you might ask, so what if we have the right? How can our votes count? And you may decide that it is not so important to vote. But think about this. Our MPs or members of parliament who are meant to represent us do not or cannot represent us because you and I and we don't vote. You have an MP who struts around for 5 years as a member of parliament with a lot of power coming his or her way, saying they speak for us. But do they? Consider just one small bit of data. Only 4 out of the 543 seats in the last Lok Sabha were won by those who got 50% or more of the total electorate. What does that mean? Say the total number of voters in a given place is 100. Out of 100, only 40 voted. The winning candidate got 30 of the votes, so he won. But is he the voice of the majority? He or she would have been if more than half the total number of voters had voted. Or think about another piece of data. There were 177 constituencies where the voting percentage was less than 50%, which means half the people eligible and having the right to vote did not vote. Or another statistic, that only 95 MPs of the 543 who got elected got more than 50% of the votes polled in their constituency. While experts will just point out that this is because of the first past the post system, the FPTP system, the fact remains that only very few, 4 MPs can say that they represent the constituencies, if we consider the electorate, and only 95 can say they represent the majority of those who came to the polls. So, less than 18% of our MPs can say they got the mandate from the majority. But the fault is not of those who got elected. The fault is ours, because we did not go and vote. So there's little doubt that we should vote, whether you're very rational, ethical, or just want to make sure those who win really represent the constituency. Now the question is, how do you vote? Let's look at that in the next video. And if you have any questions or comments, please post it below.